So after my mom passed away, we ended up leaving the motel room and going back to my mom's place where her boyfriend was still residing. And my mom had left that house to my little sister. My little sister didn't want any part of it. And she also, she didn't want to tell anybody to leave. Well, she didn't want to tell Al to leave. And so she just basically gave Al, or the bank, the house. And we ended up having to leave. Al was staying at the house, whatever. He resided there for a little bit longer. So we had found this abandoned trailer. It had been abandoned for 20 years. My mom and I actually had previously looked at it. And Kel and I went to the trailer, and he was like, we could totally fix this up. It'll be worth it. And I had gotten my taxes back, ended up putting the down payment on this abandoned trailer, buying a bunch of sheetrock, a new shower for my son's room, flooring, fittings, tools, and we were supposed to be going over there and working on it. Kel had lost his job the day that we put the down payment on the trailer, on this abandoned trailer. And he would wait for me to get off of work to go over there and work on it, whatever. I was fine with that in the beginning. I was like, okay, yeah, because I want to learn all this stuff. Well, we ended up having to leave my mom's house because her boyfriend had, said, hey, you need to get out. And I was the only one working and couldn't make a payment. I couldn't pay for the down payment on this trailer and pay him. So he was like, and he didn't want to wait until the next check. So he's like, you guys need to get out. And so we were like, okay. And I'm still in like a foggy mind, like a foggy days. Like this whole relationship with this guy, my mind felt so foggy. And I'm telling you, in the beginning of the relationship, when I was still staying with my mom, he was standing in the kitchen with me, and we were having a conversation, and it literally felt like in that conversation, I felt it instantly. We were talking, and it felt like a rubber band was put around my brain, and it was like instant brain fog. And I was like, well, that's so weird. And I was like thinking, do you think it has something to do with him? And then I was like, no, gaslighting myself. Anyways, so I'm still in this brain fog, hardcore, and still, trying to process everything, losing my mom, everything. And so we ended up just packing up and moving into this abandoned trailer with nothing. We had went in there and cleaned it a little bit and put in a few outlets. Like literally I didn't change the toilet. Literally that was it. This house has been abandoned. This trailer had been abandoned for 20 years. There was mice. It smelled like an abandoned old half put together trailer, and it was horrible. So just losing my mom, him not having a job, me being like, okay, this is like, I have to go all in. Like, I have to make this work because I have no other options. In my head, I'm like, I don't know what else to do. I have to make this work now. And I'm like, he seems like a sweet guy. I think that we'll be able to heal up and things will get better. And just telling myself, just make it day by day. And so we move into this abandoned trailer, and I'm going to tell you, it was a cultural and shell shock. It rocked me and my son to the core. To the freaking core. This place was disgusting. I've lived the life. I've been through some crap. I've squatted in apartments. I've slept outside in just a sleeping bag up Swift Creek for 2 weeks. I can handle a lot. But moving into this trailer, it smelled so musty, so moldy. It was cold. It was dirty. There was the subfloor. There was no flooring. The walls, like where the trim was supposed to be, all eaten off. So just bare. It was horrible. It was horrible. And we were already dealing with the loss of my mom. And I really needed somebody to lean on. So I could be a little bit strong. And Kel was definitely not the right choice. So if you are ever going through anything that, is like hard, if you're ever going through something hard, like the loss of a person, any big changes in your life, don't ever, and they say this, never, ever make a big decision that like can permanently impact your life, like don't get in a relationship. Don't go and move to a different freaking country right then because you're not thinking straight. But anyways, so we just lost my mom, ended up moving into this abandoned trailer. Kel doesn't have a job. I'm the only one working. I was noticing everything I would ask him to do after we'd moved into that trailer. I'd be like, hey, can you work on this? And he'd be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then he never would do anything that he said he was going to do. And he is the most talented, one of the most talented gaslighters, excuse makers, and he's a textbook narcissist. The marriage counselor was concerned that he is possibly a psychopath, and I totally believe that he is. He's bipolar as shit, and the crap that he put us through. Anyways, so I'm working. He's sitting at home with Matthew all summer playing video games, and I'm coming home and I'm like, I asked you to please hang at least 2 sheets of sheetrock. Can you not please do that? And then he was like, and I was getting like super tired. I was so depressed. I'd come home and I would just go to bed. Like I was not dealing at all. And I was coming home and the house is a wreck. The dishes aren't done. My son hadn't been fed. He'd been playing video games all day. Kel would eat. But wouldn't feed my son. My son is like, he's 10. Yeah, he could go out and wash his own dishes and find his own food, scavenge for his own food, because at this time we had like nothing to eat too. Because I wasn't on food stamps. I was the only one working. I had paid for all of this drywall, shower, flooring, tools, all of this crap. And it's just sitting outside. And I'm going to work, coming home, having to do dishes, having to do dinner. If I didn't feed my son, he wouldn't eat, because he was going through a super hard transition too. And this guy would just sit on the couch all day and play video games. And then he'd be like, well, I was just waiting for you. I was just waiting for you to get home. I need your help. And I'm like, you have a 10-year-old kid who can hold up a piece of sheetrock while you screw it in, And I'm like super freaking tired. Well, I end up finding out I'm pregnant, okay? And I'm like, great. And I was excited because I've been wanting a baby, but the timing was off. The dude that made me perceive him completely differently, he was, off. And but he would tell me, like, I'll work on it, I'll change, like, blah, blah, blah. It's just all new. It's just all this. My son was so depressed. He was planning and figuring out a way to try to commit. And, I was just coming home and I'm like exhausted. Then, ended up being like, the middle of the summer and it was so hot. It was like 100 and something degrees every day. And the AC and the swamp cooler in the store had broken at the job that I worked, and I was working in the kitchen. I was making to-go orders. And I'm dealing with this abandoned trailer that we're living in that's disgusting, that nothing's getting done on. I'm exhausted. I'm pregnant. I just lost my mom. My son is super depressed and just ready to quit. And I have this man-child sitting on my couch daily saying that he's trying to look for a job, saying that, okay, I'll work on the trailer, but I really need your help. And I'm like, dude, I can't.